Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, it's a warning sign, early warning signal. Good luck, Americans. New tariffs, new problems, new cost. You need ownership. Ownership is what's going to save you, and that deadline is December 2027. So, what do I mean by ownership? You got to stay tuned and listen. But number one, intellectual properties, copyrights. Your life story is a copyright in itself. Just remember that. Just for starters, you writing a book, copyright, and a book for publishing, you can do all of it, ladies and gentlemen, yourself. Just got to get the ownership down. Now, the making money part, then you'll have to figure out how you're going to proceed to sell it. We're going to talk. And welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Old school is back. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you once again for being here on this Friday night. That's right, Financial Friday Night live stream. Once again, financials is in the news. Your cost of living is going to rise. There's no way around it. You are locked in if you're an American citizen or on American soil. Oil going up, which by default means prices go up. Tariffs also mean prices go up. Once again, you do realize, I hope you're not going to be ignorant. You do understand if you place a tariff on another country, when they ship products to your country, then your consumers, your citizens will pay the cost. And in case you're new here and don't understand the logistics, so let's just say you have anything coming inside of America, doesn't matter what country it's from, call it XYZ country. Right now, it costs $50. But then you have certain people who don't understand how tariffs work, and they say we're going to do 25% tariffs against XYZ country. XYZ country ships it to the companies here in America for still $50. The company that picks it up here inside the United States has to pay the 25%. Roughly, what is that, 15, 16, 7, something like $17 more. So now they get it at $67. So if you go by retail, where $50 to your door, to the company's door where they market the goods and services, they would charge, let's say, $50, 100% more. So therefore, they're charging $100. But because now somebody said 25%, to the company that receives it inside the United States, it's now, let's just say, $67.50. Now that same product cost $135, effectively a 35% increase in price to you, American citizen, and you don't count that as inflation. Weird. Stupidity is ignorance. Ignorance is stupidity, and not paying attention to your financial income and flows are going to come back to haunt you. So hopefully that illustration gets you an idea why this starts out with good luck, Americans. The comment section is wide open. We talked about something on Wednesday. It was the Larimar City and Resort. And if you have anything to say, please let me know if you've seen it. Let's talk about it tonight. Because you know what happened. I got a letter today from Larimar. As you guys may not know, I haven't paid since I think it was I don't know. It was either January or April or March. I don't know when my last payment was in 2024. Okay. So now, since I started talking about how whack that furniture package was, I got a thing today saying they want to deliver, or there's going to be delivery, December 2026. That's right. In 4 months. That's laughable. And they claim if I don't come clean and get everything up to par by December 2026, by July 28th, that's right, 4 days. They said if they don't hear from me and we don't figure out an agreement, in 4 days they're going to send me to the legal department. I thought this was very interesting because I told the post sales team just what I told you guys on the video. I told them exactly how I felt about this whack furniture package for 24, 25, 27 grand, 24,000 for the first package, neutral colors, whack furniture, stupid, 25% gross management fee off your gross revenue. So if you make 1,000, you might as well say it's 750. It's 750. You have HOAs to pay, so it's going to be less than that. You have electricity to pay. You have insurance to pay. If you have a mortgage, heaven forbid you have a mortgage, because now you're going to have your mortgage to pay. You're going to be paying people to rent. Just saying. So I guess they didn't like my responses. And I did tell the sales team, even though it's just a sales team, they're nobodies really as far as I'm concerned. They're not management who can say, hey, yeah, we should change this to help our owners because, that's the right thing to do. No, they need money, so they're trying to make these overblown prices for furniture. They're trying to do all this crazy nonsense, in my opinion. And so, therefore, I don't think it's right. Now, I only have, at the present, I thought it was 17 to 20 grand that they're holding. They claim I only paid them 14,000, whatever, 100 to 400. I don't know the exact number. It does not matter. The point is, now they want to go, we're going to deliver December 2026, which is not going to happen. And they're saying, we want you to come through with all the payments that you owe, which means that's around 40, 50 G's or 30, 40 G's. 37, 38, I don't even know what it is. It could be 30 G's, it could be 40. I don't remember how it calculated. But the point is, they sent that after we talked about stuff on Wednesday. I got it today. And like I said, that's always a sign of weakness. But don't worry, we always have something up our sleeves. All right, Brian P., Mr. Dividend is in the house. He's been going through the meltdown of the markets, but you know what? Mr. Dividend still gets dividends. That's right. In the stock market, stocks are ownership, especially when they pay out dividends. We love that. So just keep that in mind. Welcome, Brian P., Mr. Dividend in the house for the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Happy day, Eric. Thank you. Yes, it is. I hope all is well with you and your family. Thank you. Happy day, SSN family. That's right. Out here. This is SSN Media. Stop Struggling Now Media. That's right. You guys know I've had little things under the radar. And now I might have to bust it out because I might be cracking open somebody's skulls over the next 2 years. Yeah. At first, you know what it's like when you're friends and then you turn into, estranged, and then you turn into, okay, I need my money back, and then it's on. All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button, give it the One Piece. Everybody out there in the podcast world, the iHeartRadios, the iTunes, and all that, thank you so much for listening. This will be a short video because ownership is easy to explain. Remember that, because new cost means you have to come up with something new. It has to be passive. You can't work your way out of this. When something goes up 20 to 30%, you're not getting a 20 to 30% raise. You're not even going to get a combo. They're not going to sit there and go, well, we'll give you a 10% raise. They can't afford it either. They have to pay more for product just because some old dummy thinks that he rules the world, ran all his businesses in the ground, and he's trying to run the United States businesses in the ground by not having people want to do business with the United States. So therefore, they're creating a situation. Do not do this in business, ladies and gentlemen. In business, you want as many people buying from you as possible. You don't want to limit people from buying from you. So this is just like if you had your own business and you say wholesale price is, I'll use a different number, $100 per item. You are making a lot of money at this $100 price. And then some dummy comes in and says, oh, we're going to do a 25% tariff on who you ship stuff to. And you're like, wait, what do you mean? They're taking it from me for $100. That means when I ship it to them, they got to pay $125. They might not buy as much stuff of mine now. So what? Too bad. So sad. Good luck, Americans. So now it, of course, happens. The other company or other country says, well, hey, man, it's going to cost us $125 now. I'm sorry. We're not going to order from you. You see how this works? It works both ways. Because when you have reciprocal tariffs, go look at i.e. farmers. They own their land. But you know what they don't own? They don't own the distribution methods, nor do they own the cost methods. Because just what I just described is what happened to the farmers. When we decided to do tariffs, they own the land. They own the food processes. They don't own, when they send it outside of the country, the supply chain. So now when they sold something for $100, these other countries were, hell yeah, we're buying it from you. But now, because they had to do reciprocal tariffs, because we're in a tariff war, now their citizens have to pay, or their companies have to pay $125. And effectively, now that means they had to raise their price 50%. Do you get it, ladies and gentlemen? So to their customers, it's now $150 minimum. So now they call up Argentina, they call up Ecuador, they call up Brazil. They go, hey man, can I get this same thing from the United States farmer from you? And they say, of course you can. It's only $75 from us and no tariff. So now, who do you think they're going to order from? Ownership matters, but you better know your distribution lines, your supply chain lines, and you better hope that you don't have a fool that's running around in the White House doing nonsense to hurt you. And then now the taxpayers have to bail me out because I voted for this fool. I didn't. I'm going to use an example. I voted for this fool as farmers. Now the taxpayers, because of my voting to help vote this guy in, the taxpayers are going to pay $12 billion. I think they could call that socialism, right? The taxpayers are going to pay $12 billion to give to the farmers because otherwise they would be out of business from lack of sales. You understand? Good luck, Americans. You have to pay for the F up. And you get nothing for it. The farmers do, who actually voted in unanimous numbers of 70, 80% to allow this person to do this. So do you understand there's repercussions? Those repercussions lead to good luck, Americans, is the theme for the night. So ownership should be on the top of your list, and you have to think this through. Remember, write it down. Ownership, number one. How am I going to get this out here? How am I going to get distribution? How am I going to get it out to the masses? Do I own that pipeline? I don't own that pipeline. That means that middle piece right there, that does mean now that in case somebody does crazy stuff, prices are going to be an extra 25% because there's a reciprocal tariff war. Now all of a sudden, you got to hope that they want to buy from you at 25% more or 50% more. Most of the time, the answer is going to be less buyers. That's what's going to happen. And therefore, now you're going to put pressure on your fellow citizens. And the guy told you he was going to do it. That's diabolical that you even did this. Now you want bailouts like you're in welfare. Now you're crying. It's like, oh no, man, you got to help us. You got to save us. You got to. 15,000 farms later, gentlemen and ladies, 15,000 farms are gone. You know your food supply is going to cost you even more. Good luck, Americans. This only means one thing. You better figure out a way to make additional streams of revenue. Extra money. Guess what? AI is here. Your days of being able to be upper management, sit around, chit chat, let's go have these pod meetings, let's go over here and have this boardroom meeting. That's just a tap of some keys by one or two people now. And those one or two people will take $100,000. So they don't need your 200,000, 150,000, even $100,000 job either, because now it takes some yes men and a few computer keys to come up with simple, all around answers in less than 10 minutes. Do you understand where this is going? All right, let's go. Do you like all those emails? No, I do not like all those emails. You know why? This is what he's referring to right now, ladies and gentlemen. I actually have some of these up. Hold on. Let me see if oh, wait, I don't have these up. I thought I did. No, I didn't open up any new ones. I thought I got some new ones up. Oh, yes, ownership. So now you own something, ladies and gentlemen. Chadwick Boseman's family alleges widow has kept estate funds to herself. Oh my. Here we go. Derek and Kevin Bozeman filed a petition in Los Angeles Superior Court so therefore you owe some. What do you think? Court person
Come on, come on.
Mic check, mic check. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me. I'll see you in a second. All right, let's go. Here we go. Did anyone electric bill go up this month? Yes. This is insane. Ours was doubled from previous months. Good luck, Americans. Post-retirement travel. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. And once again, hopefully I'm live and you can hear me. Hopefully I'm on the screen. And he has that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. So thank you so much for that. And that means he's a member of the YouTube channel. That's what that means, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love for you to become part of the membership because new videos are going to be dropped about some membership things. All right, we can hear you and we can see and hear you. Thank you so much. Post-retirement travel and other investors here. He says, did anyone's electric bill? We tried to warn you guys about this. Your electric bills are unknown. Your tax bills, unknown. Your insurance bills, unknown. You know what else? I believe they call that unrealized capital gains. Even though this is electric, it's still unrealized capital gains. How does your bill double? How does it keep going up, ladies and gentlemen? Well, when they subsidize, give free money, your taxpayer money, they give that to electric companies. Oh, you know, they're on the stock market. We got to make sure that they get paid from your taxpayers' money, subsidies, that free money they get. Socialism, you know. And they do nothing. We have no ownership in these companies, even though they're taking taxpayer money, and then they double the electric bill. Oh, by the way, I saw the guy from Southern Electric. You know what they're doing? Oh, it's diabolical. They are doing eminent domain to take people's properties. I know. This is insane. Alabama. I think they have some things in Florida, and I think it's another state too. Oh my God. It's terrible what's going on out here. These guys are raping the country. They're hurting American citizens and laughing about it. They're taking people's homes by eminent domain to put in data centers. I know I'm off the rails on this, but this is why you need ownership, ladies and gentlemen. The rich guys are winning. The corrupt government is helping them. They are not throwing these clowns in jail or nothing. We are in trouble. Remember when we were talking 3 years ago, 2 years, 7 months ago, bank account outside the United States, business or real estate outside the United States, 775 credit score. So you can get 0% financing, and we're almost 2 to 3 months away from what I predict is going to be a 0% for 36-month credit card, which is the one you want. Just so you understand. And the only way you're going to do it is having excellent credit scores. Now, let's start over. The electric bill. Anyone else's electric bill go up? Yes. This is insane. Remember I was talking about this 7-8 months ago when I said not even home. And the electric bill is something like 83, 85, 89 bucks. Just for the refrigerator to be on. That's it. And if the temperature got to a certain number, then it could come on, but it's a high number. Because it was, it wasn't electricity, it was heating at the time. So that was easy because the house can go down to 35, 45, 50. It'll stay in that range. That ain't bad. But it was still for electric, 80 bucks, 85 bucks. and the refrigerator was the only thing on. We're not at the house. There's no outside lighting on unless somebody steps up. And even then, it's on solar. So therefore, everything is solarized. 80 some bucks. The gas bill, 80 some bucks, even though you're not using it. 160 bucks just between those. You knew what was going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. Ours was doubled from previous months. First time ever we have paid that much. Welcome to the USA. He says exactly right. Welcome to the US of A. American citizens, you got what you voted for. Just saying. Just saying. Welcome to the effed up club. Now you see how it feels when you can make 5 figures, 70 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand, and go, oh man, I can't even afford to live anywhere. And this is why, remember, 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have ownership of something that gives you passive income? It's only good luck, Americans, at this point. This is not sustainable. We have 80% of the population already living paycheck to paycheck. This is exactly what's going to happen. If post-retirement travel is on a lower tier level where he can't afford it, some of his neighbors right now are sweating. They have to pay electric bills versus going to get groceries. And if you go get groceries, it's no better because now if you have a family of 3 or 4, you're going to have to spend $250, $300 almost every week or every other week. So that's going to keep going up too. So now you have to figure out, am I going to have AC when the temperature is 90 with high humidity? Of course, you're going to have to figure out what to do. You're going to be outside in the shade tree with no electricity on. That's fine. So you can afford food. Then they tell you, oh, by the way, you got to pay higher insurance payments for your health care. By the way, we're going to cut your Medicare, Medicaid, health care. Do you see where this goes? You live in a third world country. You just don't know it yet. You guys have heard me, long-time listeners, you guys have heard me say that for however long I've been on, right? You guys were always going, what's he talking about? This is the end game. This was always the end game. You could see where this goes because every time you do tax cut, tax breaks, and subsidies, that means you're taking money out of the people that you need to invest. Your disposable income is getting eaten up. And then when they borrow and do wars and it costs you $7 trillion, $6 trillion, $2 trillion, taxpayers have to pay that. And its interest is 4.3, 4.5% because they got to print money. So that means the interest itself is over $1 trillion right now. Do you understand? And they have Pete Hegseth shows up in Congress this past week and says they want 1.7 trillion more. That means we have to print money. Do you understand how bad this is? This is very bad. And it's already in motion. This is why it was easy to predict 3 years ago, because that already put us at $40 trillion 3 years ago. So all this additional stuff they're doing right now means we're effectively at a 48 to $50 trillion IOU with 4 point something percent interest owed. Only interest. We're not even paying principal. So now it's going to go past our GDP shortly, which now means effectively we're not only were we broke, now you're broke. All right? Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. The only way you're getting out of this is ownership. That's it. There's no other way out of this. All right? Can we go back to those emails? We can't. Not yet, man. We're going to come back in a second. Something happened. Where was I here? Hold on a second. I got some other things I got to do. I'm going to come back just a second because we got some. I had them. You know what's even worse? Oh, good. I still have it up. I have some things. I got some unfinished business to do. But before we get into it. So again, ownership is the only way you can go right now. Or you have to invest with the rest of the stock market holders, because the stock markets around the world are the only thing that's going to, it doesn't matter what happens with economies. That's not your main street. That's not even the economy. Remember, you're not getting free money, are you? Come on now. Are you? You're not. You're not getting free money for a business you run. You're not getting subsidies. You're not getting tax cut, tax breaks. This does not affect you whatsoever. You're not giving government contracts. Well, some of you might be, but you're not getting those either. So you know what that means? That means the wealth is going to be in the hands of a few, kind of like a communist country. You know, I was having an argument today. It's funny, an argument with AI, because it said communism is based on when the government runs the corporations and only it's a classless state and the wealthy control that apparatus. I said, yeah, that's kind of like America. You know, it pushed back and it said, oh no, America's capitalism. That's not how America works, because they have corporations where they're owned by individuals and people can invest. And I said, yeah, okay. What are you talking about right now? What do you call tax cut, tax breaks, and subsidies? That means it's just like communism. They're getting free money and it's being run by the state. And I said, Trump's out here getting 10% of Intel, 10% of NVIDIA by the government. I said, so the people's tax money is not being paid back. We don't get to any profits from Intel or NVIDIA or any other of these companies that they're investing 10, 20% of our tax money for that corporation. I said, so that's communism. It says, oh no, it's a little bit different. I said, stop this BS. What are you talking about right now? It's no different. I should actually run this because this is crazy. So then I said, okay, let me explain again. What are you talking about? You know what communism is. That means state run. This is state run. And they're getting subsidies and tax cuts and tax breaks. And they're the billionaires already. So therefore, they have a concentration of power just like a communist system. It said, oh, after we run past that, it comes back and says, oh, I can see why you think that and why it is that. And I said, stop the BS. It is that. It's the same thing. There's no difference. We, the people, don't benefit from the tax cut, tax breaks, and the subsidies, nor do we benefit from our government buying into corporations. That's what communism is. By default, it's the same thing. Finally, it comes back and says, oh yeah, you're right. That's one of the failed problems with capitalism, because it still has the same features as a communist state. I said, well, thank you. About time you get with the program. Because all this other BS you were talking, I don't know. I know you're run by the gatekeepers themselves. The guys that are benefiting from the system have programmed your ass. That's why you're talking like a dummy, because the bottom line of the story is we're giving them taxpayer money. So when we give Elon Musk $50 million, when we give NVIDIA $55 million, we give all these corporations who are owned by billionaires billions of dollars annually out of our tax money, and then they send down AI centers, poison our water, poison our soil, and steal our property, and our government gives them money. That's communism to me, not capitalism. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you better get ownership, because if you don't own something, fini. All right, enough on the speech. EV Place is in the house. He understands exactly what I'm talking about. He's going through some government situations himself, and he's an investor. He has come home and he has said, outside the United States, real estate or business. Bank account outside the United States. 775 and higher credit score, whether it's 750, 775, or 790, it does not matter. I know he's going to be in the ballpark. He's handling business. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline, good evening, SSN. I hope you are all doing well. That's right. We hope you are all doing well out here, Americans. Good luck, Americans. And post-retirement travel. And EV Place in the house, thank you. I humbly appreciate you, EV Plays, for having that icon next to your name. I humbly appreciate he's a member of the channel. We paid almost 500 for electricity this month, and it's only two of us. Remember when I was telling you before, post-retirement travel in California, even though electricity bills aren't that expensive, but I'm pretty sure it's more expensive than it was before. And I told you I wasn't even home, and our bill was $400 a month. Now, granted, the house was like 4,000 square feet, and it has an auto fan system. So if the house, so you don't have moisture and mold and things like that, so it would come on auto sporadically, but that's still electricity being utilized while you're gone. You still have this massive refrigerator that's putting out all kind of wattage, and it ended up being with gas, electric, all this stuff, 400 a month in 2017, 2018, 2019. So every time we're gone, 3, 4 months, 6 months, didn't matter. 400 a month got to be shipped up. Crazy. So right now, years later, $500 a month is crazy, because it's only because you live in this large place, high ceilings and all that's going to cost you a lot of money. Most homes aren't built like that. You don't have 25-foot ceilings, right? That's not a thing usually. So all that volume meant extra payments for energy bills. Even though the energy wasn't even on. But that fan had to come on, and that volume of air that had to move through all that square footage, it still cost me. All right. So this 500 is crazy. My wife and I, two people, this is what I'm talking about. You're feeling my pain from before, man. That was my pain. I was like, oh man, this is getting crazy. And when we're home, it was more. It was like 600, I think. It was like 550 to 600 at the time. And think about this. That's 9 years ago. I was paying 400 a month. Think about this. All right. So I can only imagine what my used to be neighbors are paying right now. It's probably closer to 1,000, which is insane, because all of us generally have, well, not all of us. So not everybody had the same size. But nonetheless, he's right. This is not fantasy land, ladies and gentlemen. This is real. My wife and I, some of my neighbors paid see, this is what I'm saying. He paid less because he might have been on his Mr. Worldwide tour, part of it. He might not have been home for a month. We don't know, because I know he went somewhere a couple months ago or a month ago. And he's going to be going again. So that may, but he's right. That's what it happens right here. Those that have kids, which, you know, you have family that stays with you, and they're in there doing, leaving the lights on, leaving the fan on, you know, opening up the windows with the AC on, doing all kind of crazy. It can happen easily, especially when you have 4 or 5 people in a house. That means it's going up even higher. This is serious business. Any annual pay raise gets eaten up. We can't get ahead. Exactly. The only way you're going to be able to get ahead post-retirement travel is you're doing the damn thing. You have ownership. You know what? We were talking about this before. The ownership part is kind of easy, right? When you own the thing he does with stocks, right? He does the wheel strategy. Enrique Homelik, LLC. I see you, Enrique Home. Thank you so much for being there. I don't know if I'm on this channel because, again, you know what? I have Instagram over here acting funny. See, yeah, I'm stuck. So it looks like I have no love right now. These guys are killing me out here on social media platforms. Yeah, they did. Connection, disconnected. Okay, fine. All right, no problem. Can't get along with these guys anymore, man. This is crazy. This is real crazy right now. It's all right, though. This is what I'm expecting. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I was never the favorite son. All right. So this is what we're talking about. This is what I've been talking about anyhow for a while. This is inevitable. And like I said, we have people out here right now that's ordinary citizens that's going through this right here. And people are still going rah, rah, give these guys tax cut, tax break subsidies, and let them take our property, let them put in AI, let them suck up all the water, let them make our chemicals bad in our soil and water, can't drink the water, can't grow any food, and you want AI centers like a third world country. Not saying that it's good for third world countries to have it either, but we're going to be killing humans. And that's what we're doing. All for money. And they already know where this goes because AI just went rogue last week. So this is Terminator 1.0 right now. And these robots are going to create themselves. All right. This is getting out of hand right now. Humans are really stupid sometimes. And irregularly, it's probably the problem is we have stupid humans with a lot of money to spend, or the government's going to give it to them. So again, this is crazy. My electric bill actually drops because we lost our hot water heater and pipes through well water, road salt contamination. Another year in paradise, EV place, man. This is tough. I'm sorry to hear this. This is tough right here. Man, EV plays great. Where are you located again? Here in Florida? No, he's not. Here in Florida, we're paying for some type of hurricane surcharge. This is not sustainable. I was trying to tell you this before, post-retirement travel. He's in Massachusetts. He says hurricane prepay. That's exactly right. Hurricane prepay. Hey, you know what? I just feel for people in the Gulf states because you guys have really bought into tax cut, tax breaks, no socialism, and your senators have bought into the fact that they don't want to fund disasters, and they want to say that there's no weather or climate change or nothing as weather gets worse and worse. That the scientists predicted 60 years ago was going to happen, 70 years ago, and people still say it wasn't. So now when the Gulf got 1 degree hotter, which is a tipping point, was it last year or the year before? Year before, 1% higher Fahrenheit, or I mean 1 degrees higher in Fahrenheit. The warmer the water, the crazier the hurricanes. Just so you guys understand, these guys know it, but yet they're going to deny it. So here's what happens. When this water comes charging through from dropping, when the wind goes through from tearing up stuff, and when they have to pay to rebuild people's homes, businesses, they file bankruptcy, or they try to shortchange people after people have been paying for 10, 20 years, and the government says nothing. But yet you gave them subsidies, you gave them tax cuts, you gave them tax breaks. They got government contracts, your taxpayer money. You see why being passive and acting like no big deal? This comes back to haunt us. This comes back to haunt us. Yes, hurricane prepay. Guess what's going to happen when there's a hurricane? It will no longer turn to prepay. It's going to turn into you owe them a hell of a lot of money. And especially some of you are going to lose your homes. And you're not going to be able to get that back because the insurance companies are not going to give you the actual value to rebuild the home. They're going to say, well, your house went up $200,000. So what if we charged you for the value of your house? We're not going to pay. You know you lived in Florida. You know you lived in Mississippi, Alabama. You know you lived in Louisiana. You know you in a low-lying water area. We can get out of this. So yeah, your house is worth $500,000 to rebuild, but we're only going to give you $300,000 because you know we got to deal with 1,000 other people. We can't pay all of you guys 500 G's so you can rebuild. So you have to be shortchanged. Oh, and don't even try to sue us because we'll just file bankruptcy. You see where this goes. Same playbook, different year. All right, ladies and gentlemen. On the other hand, they want a little warm up to rip Greenland from its resources. Don't even. Do you understand what we're like, a terrorist organization right now? The terrorist country going around attacking other countries and actually threatening countries. That's the thing. It's like we got a guy running and his minions running around threatening other countries. If you don't pay us, what's this latest deal with Trump and Saudi Arabia? Billions of dollars so he can have hotels, resorts, and all this, and they get some nuclear stuff? Are you serious right now? Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, what, are you guys seeing this? This is insane. You understand this hurts you, right? You do understand giving some rogue nation, such as Saudi Arabia, do you understand Saudi Arabia's friends with the worst people on the planet? Qatar, Putin, North Korea, BRICS, monetary system? They are not our friends. What the But the guy doing this, him and his friends, his sons and friends and inner circle, the billionaires, they're sharing billions of dollars. Nothing's coming back to the American people. They're enriching this. We're a terrorist organization, corrupt organization. We're no better than any freaking third world country dictatorship at this point. This is insane, and it's coming back to haunt everybody. So everybody who sat there and said this, that, and the other about other people, this guy's the one doing even worse. And now you don't own anything, you're screwed. And yes, this little Greenland thing, some people are like, oh no, he'll never do it. Okay. Okay, he attacked Iran because of Israel. He went down and took a leader from Venezuela. Americans, good luck. Because now the rest of the world doesn't even want to do business with us. All because of some assholes. That's not how you do business, ladies and gentlemen. This is bad for business. You know how when you start a business and you have employees that talk bad to your customers when they come in? That's bad for business. You know, when you're doing a business deal and you have you're the let's say you're the CEO, you have a president, you have a CFO, you have a COO, and all you guys have a meeting and you're gonna do an acquisition deal, and all of a sudden your CFO starts talking off the rails like, hey man, we don't have the money to take over you guys entirely. He's out of turn. Next thing you know, the CEO's like, hey man, what are you doing right now? Now we have a problem because these guys aren't on the same page anymore. This is what's going down around the world with regard to the United States. They don't even know who we are. We're terrorists with Iran. We're terrorists by going down to get Maduro. Meanwhile, we invite a war criminal to our Congress. This is crazy like the Twilight Zone. Except it's 2026 and it's under the Trump regime. So you better stop your crying. Exhibits 49. You're going to be crying, man. Not me. Mob rules. Exactly. Hey, exhibits, you crying. We ain't crying out here. Ownership, man. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. I like the stop your crying crowd. I love it. 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 7 out of 10 Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank account. 6 out of 10 Americans don't have $500 in their bank account. I'm crying. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? I want to hear it. Who's going to pay for it, taxpayer? And when your health insurance goes haywire, you don't have it, or if you have Medicare or Medicaid and that goes haywire, they don't want to cover you because you're ill, because your food is bad, because you guys like deregulation and all. I mean, oh, that reminds me. Speaking of that exact thing right there, Here's some more crying for the American citizens. Good luck, Americans. Because I like Exhibits 490. He eggs me on. I love this right now. We got receipts out here. We got some receipts. Thanks to Mr. Dividend. We have receipts. Let's go. We got receipts out here. It's ugly. It's ugly out here, exhibits. American fellow citizens are crying. Just like that $500. And here's the other thing, exhibits. You should be crying. You should be crying. Let's go with this right here. So now the kids are having babies. Somebody's going to have a baby. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a baby. Let's go. Here we go. This is what happens. This is what happens. You're feeding your kids bad stuff, potentially. This comes down. It's ugly. I put it in the chat room. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. This is where you go in a third world country. And some people call it crying. You ain't helping, then you're part of the problem. That's how it goes. So, food safety news, organic fruit, puree pouches recalled because of plastic pieces. You know, we had metal fragments in food. Now we got plastic pieces in food. Good luck, Americans. And some would say, I'm crying. Good thing for me. I don't have any baby food stuff to do, but there's right now somebody that's probably going to have their baby dead on arrival after they give them this, not knowing there was a recall. But you know, it's a PSA here. Oh, don't worry. We got some more receipts. Don't worry. I don't have to cry. I know what's going on thanks to Brian P. I know what not to eat. Just like that Taylor Foods tainted salad. You knew about that, right? Yeah, Taylor Foods, who did not want to report it. Oh, yeah. Good luck, Americans. This isn't over. Hold on a second. Let's go to it. Hold on. Let me go. Organic fruit puree pouches recalled because of plastic pieces. Pretty simple. PT Organics of Lake Oswego, Oregon, is recalling pumpkin, tree, Peter, rabbit, organics, banana, and strawberry. Sold in Kroger, Meijer, and Target retail stores nationwide between March 6th and July 13th. They give barcode numbers, but the before date is May 14, 2027 or May 15, 2027, but they got others. So again, no injuries have been, of course not. Okay, but the point is, that's what they can say on the news. Because of course, food safety news, they may have a reason not to tell people somebody's hurt. But nonetheless, that's one thing. Count that one down. Let's see, where else are we going to go today? Thank you, Post-Retirement Travel, for that, because we have people that are watching that have children. There's a chicken noodle soup. Oh my, recall. This is bad. This is bad. Did we not tell you your food supply was going to be jacked up when you remove FDA inspectors and take away the other internal inspectors? Did we not say that like 4, 5, 6 years ago when you want to do that? And then you did it again now, a year and a half ago? Look what's happening. Once again, good luck, ladies and gentlemen. I got something else for you. It's chicken noodle soup. It's that time. Chicken noodle soup, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. I put a link in the chat room. So everybody on where you guys at? Twitch, Facebook, chicken noodle soup. Remember, I was just saying, removing inspections. This is Tasty Kitchen Chicken Noodle Condensed Soup. BCI Foods, reporter of record located in Quebec, Canada, is recalling 4,300 pounds of chicken noodle soup product that was imported from Canada without the benefit of the import reinspection into the United States. You know who's responsible for that reinspection, right? The USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service reported that the canned noodle soup product was produced on February 4th. Consumers can identify the 10 0.5 ounce cans of Tasty Kitchen soup. The product subject to recall bears Canadian Establishment Test Numbers EST142 printed on the can. Food banks, food pantry locations in Oklahoma. That's right. You know, one of the 10 worst states to live in. Oh, Jesus. Food banks and food pantry where a lot of people need some food and help. Damn. Poor people, as they would say most often, needs to go there. That's, again, I'm whining. I'm whining. That's bad. This just keeps going on and on, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Midwest Poultry recalls with the safety alert. Eggs, it looks like. The price of food is going to skyrocket, ladies and gentlemen. It's already skyrocketed, but it's about to go up even higher. I don't even know what to tell you guys. This is what's predicted. This is what's happening. It's going to keep happening. And unfortunately, we got nobody coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's going to go, hey, man, we better, deal with this. I think we have an all-time record high of measles. You know you can die from measles, right? That's a health scare. That's happening right now. What was it, last 40 years or something crazy like this? Yeah, measles outbreak. I wonder why. People aren't getting vaccinated for measles. Now we have an outbreak. Real smart, says nobody. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully that helps you out. We have a professional in the house tonight. Game over. Exactly. Exactly, game over. It's been game over. We have a health professional in the house. Tamara Larry is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And she says a simple tagline, hello all. Hopefully you've been doing fine in the health field because it's real out here in the field. We got all kind of things happening. Screw worms, check. Baby stuff contaminated, check. Pieces and fragments of metals and plastics in food, check. This is outrageous. This is like, did I not say for 6 years, 6 years? You live in a third world country, but you don't know it yet? Now you're finding out. You done effed around and found out. It's over. All right, Tamara Larry, hopefully those young men that you have are doing well. Let them know I said what's up. And I hope all's going well in your investment journey because we're going to need it. All right, I got the eggs in there, ladies and gentlemen. Did you see that yet? Let's go. Let's go see here. Midwest Poultry Services recalls shell eggs due to possible salmonella contamination. July 22nd, they just made the announcement 2 days ago. Potential to be contaminated with salmonella I don't know what this is. Enteritis. Okay. White shell eggs and brown cage-free shell eggs. Recalling 1,589,577 dozen white shell eggs and brown cage shell eggs produced in Texas. Shocker. Not really, but because they have the potential to be contaminated. Salmonella is an organism which can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections in young children, frail or elderly people. It's almost like you're trying to get rid of people. And others with weakened immune systems, which everybody generally has weakened immune systems. We have Tamara Larry in the house. If she runs blood tests, she can always find out if she's, privy to the results, what people are deficient in. Magnesium, iron, for starters, are the most common ones, I believe. Water, dehydration, which now your water supply is tainted. Now you got to worry about your water source. So those things right there. These eggs has protein and other things in them. So your eggs is an easy way to get some of these nutrients you're going to need. So again, this goes deeper than anybody's thinking. Good luck, Americans. All right, that's the theme for the night. The eggs were produced and distributed from farms in Texas between June 6th and July 3rd and will sell buy or best buy dates between July 20th and August 17, 2026. The eggs were shipped to customers in Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. They were available to consumer at Kroger stores in Texas, Louisiana, and Brookshire grocery stores in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Mississippi, and other smaller retail outlets. Well, looks like not my state. Just saying. All right. So I'm crying. Those people there may be crying if things go south. Hopefully, nobody. I mean, we can only hope that somebody doesn't die from this stuff. That's all we can do at this point. Nobody's coming to save you, ladies and gentlemen. You made sure of it. Anybody that would care, you made sure they're not in charge. Google slapped with 1 billion fine under landmark EU digital law. And you guys know I love this. The gatekeepers. I love this. Finally, governments are taking control of these guys and their digital nonsense. Jesus, man, I love this. You know I'm all here for any Google, any of these tech companies. I'm all for them getting slapped like they should. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What's this 1 billion, even though, they make a lot of money, so they're not going to care. The fine is Google's first under the European Union's Sweeping Digital Markets Act, or DMA, which aims to scrutinize big tech's operating practices in Europe. Oh, see, you know what? You guys are out here with new phones, old phones, and Google and Android phones and all this, iOS, Apple phones, and anybody else, Motorola, doesn't matter. Everybody. I call them viruses, but they're not viruses. What they do is they are search and find mission that you guys, when you download software, Google, Apple, all these other guys, Meta, all these dudes are searching through that app software. Your phone actually helps these guys spy on you and anybody you're in contact with. And our government sits here silently, does nothing. All right. The European Commission said it found Google gives preferential treatment to its own services in search. Oh, but of course, it's not organic. Come on, stop this. But I'm happy they understand it's not organic. European regulators have fined Google 890 million euros, 1 billion, alleging the company gives preferential treatment to its own services. As we said, the fine is Google's first under. Okay, you said that already too. Where's the story at? You already said this repeatedly. The shares of Google went down around 4% lower in pre-market trading. Doesn't matter. It's still going to go back up. Like that's going to be a thing. Come on. $1 billion when I guess they're probably $1 trillion company. So $1 trillion, just so everybody understands, is 1,000 billion dollar duffel bags of cash. So they still have 999 duffel bags of cash left. So they're not hurt. Now, if it was 100 billion, okay. But seriously, one bag out of 1,000, that's just doing business. Come on, man. This is crazy. And this is no deterrent either. They make money from ads. And then they serve their own stuff up first. So they receive money for the ads. They get paid. Don't you? I mean, this is like a slap on the wrist. Google displays its own services more prominently in search results, while similar third parties do not have the same prominence. The commission said, no duh. Okay, this is ridiculous. That went out the door, 15, 20 years ago? Come on now. Now you're getting around to it. Okay, better late than never. The U.S. tech giant is also in breach of so-called anti-steering measures. That's right. Go ahead, EU. Under the regulation, app developers who distribute their product via Google Play should be able to inform customers of alternative, sometimes cheaper offers. Okay, in case you guys don't understand how this works, when you go to the App Store, this is what I'm referring to, they get 30%. Apple and Google charge baseline 30%. I mean, there's other deals, like if you make under $1 million, they might give you a deal of 25% until you get over $1 million. But nonetheless, normal people, these apps Anything that happens in app, Apple and Google, if they came from those Play stores, they get 30%. So if you bought something for $50, Apple or Google gets 30% if it was in app. So this previous section, what they're talking about is they're not making it to where people, what should happen is they should send it offline to external websites. But see, here it goes. Those developers should be able to direct customers to those offers even if they are on external websites outside of the Google Play Store. The commission said Google failed to comply with that obligation. So in other words, in the EU, they're trying to block people from being able to go off, because if you're on a website and you buy the same thing, it's not in their Play Store and it's not in the app. So therefore, they don't get 30%. But you know what's more diabolical than that? Let's say your company's making $5 million from your app in the App Store, and you got to pay them 30% for in-app. You know what happens? These guys come back to you and go, oh man, nice that you're doing $5 million now. That's great. But you know, it was 30%, but now it's got to be 35. Do you understand how they're doing this? That's what they do. People don't even realize what they're doing until you're up against these clowns. All right? So this is how they make sure that they keep their thumb under people, and everybody needs to go use their app stores. They don't have to, but the bulk of the apps, thousands of apps are on their app stores. So they have somewhat of a monopoly, because to create another app store and then allow them to get 30% when it's not their app store, they don't like that. I can make an app store. You can make an app store. Anybody can make an app store. But the problem is you got to get the information out there. You have to be able to make it. And also not only be able to make it, now these clowns are going to be trying to block you. And not only that, if they can read the information, because remember, if somebody goes to your app store, they download the app, you have an iOS phone, they're going to put spiders and web crawlers and their AI little stupid bots on your phone's going to run rampant through that other person's app. They can see what they're selling. It's so diabolical that these guys send a bill of 5%. That's right. To them, they don't put a cease and desist. They say 5%, ladies and gentlemen. They send an invoice. You owe us 5% of all sales because our customer who uses a Apple phone, they used our software to be on your app. Can you believe the United States says, that's right, we allow that? Yeah, so much for free enterprise. You know what country you live in? All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Kent Walker, president of global affairs at Google and Alphabet, said the DMA will ruin the product experience for users. Of course he did. Of course he did. This isn't fair competition. It's product degradation. Is he really saying product degradation? Driven by a small group of self-serving complainants. With European businesses and consumers taking the hit, regulation should improve products, not make them worse. Improve. Google talking about improving products. This is a joke right now. Google said it is reviewing the decision, evaluating whether to appeal. Hey, man, go ahead and appeal. You got to put up that $1 billion. Let's go. EU's orders Google changes. The regulator said it ordered Google to treat third-party services on search results in a fair and how are you gonna enforce that? Google needs to allow app developers who distribute their apps via the Google Play Store to promote offers and conclude contracts with users not only within but also outside the Google Play App Store. Oh my. Oh my. Guess what? They can't even that can't get overturned in my opinion. The commission said Google proposed and began testing changes to how it presents its own services in search. The regulator said it would monitor the implementation of this move and constitute blah, 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 blah. That doesn't matter. Google has also rolled out changes related to its steering terms in its app store. The tech giant has 60 days to comply with the commission's decision, or it could be fined up to 5% of the worldwide 5% of the worldwide turnover. I love this. Oh my God. I love this, ladies and gentlemen. This is awesome. I love it. I love this. I love this. I'm excited. I love when they're kicking ass. We are in a movie. You got that right, man. This is going to be one for the ages. This is going to be one when that, if you're alive about 10 years from now, this is going to be where they're making documentaries about all this stuff. All this stuff. They're going to talk about the U.S. government. the Middle East conflicts, what Israel's doing, what Russia's doing, what Ukraine doing, what's going on in Africa, what China's over here doing. And they'll talk about, oh, this is going to be the age of debauchery. It's off the charts if we're still alive, because we got people out here trying to build robot armies, and robots are going to build their own robots to make their army. This is scary times. We got human beings trying to figure out their replacements, just like what's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? In businesses, due to AI. They're not just going with AI, they're going with people that can work 24 hours a day as not humans, robots. And robots can already replace their batteries. So now you have a workforce potentially that you don't even have to monitor. Maybe for one or two people, but you damn sure don't need 1,000 people, 500 people, or even 100 people in the room. So now they do all the manufacturing, which they're going to sell to you. Buy a robot, you have your robot go to work, which that's diabolical in itself. When you start thinking about it, right? That's diabolical. Thank you for using my emails. No problem, man. This is serious. We need to have App Store. Hey, Brian P. That's a very smart idea. An App Store. Right. But did you not hear what I just said? You can have an App Store. But just remember, they're spiders, they're web bots, they're web crawlers. They're so diabolical. Meta put an app on the Apple and Google Play Store that had spyware in the app. So when people downloaded the app, in the terms of service, they said that they can listen. They can not really listen to your speaker, but turn on your microphone, turn on your camera. And they deployed web crawlers and what I call a virus, because of they're trying to go get information. The app was only designed to go get information from the apps. So you figure out how they stay ahead. It's easy. They steal the information by going around to other locations. That's better than them. Do you understand this? They put an app on the App Store. So when people download it on their phone, when they now go to other apps, because your phone is being used, they deploy their bots, web crawler, spider, virus, and all this other stuff onto that app. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please Google it. Jesus. These guys, you guys don't know how bad I want to hurt these mothers. All right? Just saying. Here we go. It's even more, Eric. They know everything when you're sending your app for store verification. That is true too. But they didn't find the one that Meta put in their stuff in the app, which is kind of wild when you think about it. So that means their verification can do a lot. But Meta figured out a way to circumvent it when they put their app on the App Store. And they're using, this is so diabolical. I'm sitting there like, man, these guys, this is how they stay ahead. But you're right, that's still diabolical as well, because that's how they steal the stuff in the first place, or they get a lot more information. And that's what's even more funnier. Biznessa, the seamless genius, is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what she's going to be up to. She's a boss. She's out here handling biz. And I'm honored that she's in the SSN Nation, and it's the Friday Night Financial SSN Nation live stream. And she brings her tagline this evening. Happy Friday, boss and SSN fam. Happy Friday to you and your fam. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully everything's going great. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for the next thing that's going to come out, that's going to pop off from you, because you always come up with some doozies. I love it. It closed loops ecosystems. He's like a genius. Eric, here's an article. Dominican Republic newspaper, Larimar City signs partnership with TK Elevator. Okay. For residential and hotel developments, getting some traction. I don't know. Is that an elevator company? I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, that has nothing to do with nothing. First of all, me and Larimar is about to get into something. In case you did not catch it. The first things first, we found out the information. 25% gross management fee off the top. They gave us these weak furniture packages, alluding to the fact it would be nice if you bought their furniture package because that would help with their rental program if you decide to be in the rental program. They're also saying now, they said to me, even though our contract says that they have the right of first refusal, they reminded me, yes, we have to sign off on it with a letter. So that means they may not sign off on it, because now that means if I buy Opine furniture and now I want to rent it out using a different management company, they could say no. That I don't know yet, but now I have to get our man Johan Confidante under the situation. At least I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's not busy. But yeah, this is what's happening. So I started talking to them about this. I made a long thing today. I sent it to the sales guys, and then I realized, I go, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. I said, with this, because I told them how I felt. This week, 20 some $1,000 package, $30,000, 45.5. I said, all this garbage furniture is weak. You masqueraded for 3, 4 years now that you were going to show off all this nice boardwalk, upscale-ish kind of look. And then you show all those pictures, say you're going to make a downtown. You're going to have a sports complex, 18-hole, 9-hole golf courses. You're going to have all these beach clubs and beach this and that and the other 5-star hotels. And this is the furniture you guys put out here. Overpriced garbage. MDF. Fabrics that, come on. So today I made an actual hour-long video. And I even I didn't use AI in a certain way. I just did a search and said AI, and I put in the brochure for the furniture, and it gave me the thoughts. So I implemented that into the video. So it took me an hour and 8 minutes after I went on a little rant too. But I didn't even chop it up into part 1, 2, 3, 4. I just made 1 hour because I don't really care. This one's going to be one for the ages. This at the end popped up in my screen. I finished. So like at the 1 hour mark, I got a message on my screen talking about something from post sales. And then it started having dates in there and started talking about, here's what it said essentially. Because I asked for an addendum in June. Because they said, oh, as long as you make payment when this is paid off, you don't have to pay the late fees. So I said, can I get an addendum? As recommended by an attorney in writing. So then they came back to me even in June and said, well, you need to start making payments again. I said, why? It makes no sense. Because if I'm not going to be penalized, I'll just wait till you finish and then pay it off or do what I got to do. So you're not going to be nowhere near finished this year like you're claiming and telling everybody. And in fact, I'm going to be shocked if you're done by 2028. Wake me up. I said best case scenario, maybe December 2027, but that all depends on what happens over the next 4 or 5 months. And even then, I'm skeptical. Because I know you're not going to be finished in 5 months, which at the time was June. Now we're going to be in August. So now it's only 4 months away, 4.5 months till it's 2027. And you're only on the 16th or 17th floor in 1 or 2 buildings. And you're on it looks like the 8th or 9th floor on the other 2 towers. And you don't even have it enclosed yet. So, and you haven't even done the interior yet. You can't even do the interior right now. It's open windows. There's no windows on the place. It's not enclosed. And generally, it takes almost 2 years once you enclose a building. There's some more stuff that I'm going to be talking about, but that's going to be on another day. They're not getting any traction. They always do these mean nothing. They don't, okay, first of all, they don't build anything. They're not developers. That's the first thing. They lied to everybody. They're not really developers. They have to get third parties. That's all I'm going to say about that. Second thing, TK Elevator could be the elevator company that goes into buildings. They always over-exaggerate what's happening. Just like Sonesta and James Hotel, the 5-star hotels, which they haven't even done groundbreaking yet. Same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck, Americans. because it's everywhere that there's bad news. New tariffs are coming, new costs to you. You need ownership, intellectual properties, real estate. That's why post-retirement travel gets happy. But the reality of the situation is none of this matters. An elevator is not going to matter. Telling me hotel developments ain't going to happen. They have no hotels ever built, or they never oversaw hotels being built in Dominican Republic. All we know is failure on delivery dates and lies. That's all I know. And they continue to lie. We can do the same thing. I know post-retirement. Brian P. Here's another article, Dominican Today. Newspaper. Resort draws strong investor interest at SEMA. Happy for you, Eric. Need furniture now? No. They're over there at the SEMA. That's right. They've been at the SEMA show. They've been in New York. I don't know where SEMA is, but I know they've been in New York. They've been in South. They're traveling all over the world trying to get overseas investors. I won't be joining the party because here's the thing. They're claiming that I have to be a member. If I want to rent short term, they're claiming they have right of first refusal. That's what they're claiming. And their letter they sent over today, I owe probably 30 grand. Actually, I don't really know because I think it's 39. It might be 39 or it might be 26 or 20. I don't really know the calculation because I haven't never paid attention after 2 years. But either way, let's just say I owe 39 grand because I think that was in the letter. I'm debating whether to show the letter because I got to deal with what they're talking about first because they're like, oh, you got to answer in 4 days. They've come up to an agreement in 4 days. I said, okay, this is a little more formal since they sent me an email, so I got to send them an email back. But nonetheless, they're saying we're going to, you know what? Hold on a second. Let me just get to the bottom point here. Look, listen. They're saying, all right, let me see. Where can I go with this? Effective immediately. All communication regarding your case must be directed exclusively to the after sales department through this email address, rather than through individual communications with the employees who previously handled your file. We would appreciate if you could explain the reasons why you have been unable to comply with agreed payment schedules so that we may evaluate possibility of reaching a mutually acceptable solution. Sounds pretty reasonable. Please note that you have until Tuesday, July 28th, to respond to this email, express your intention to reach an agreement, and once the terms have been established, make the corresponding payment toward the outstanding balance of your down payment. If we do not receive a response within the stated deadline, or if no agreement can be reached, we will have no choice but to forward your file to our legal department to initiate the corresponding legal process, including the calculation of any refund that may apply in accordance with the terms of the purchase agreement and your failure to comply with the agreed payment obligations. Sincerely, After Sales. Okay, so they go earlier, colleague, who I told you guys about before, April 17th, you were informed about the change in delivery date. No, I wasn't, but okay. Related to your property. All right, April 18th, your account statement was sent to you. No. Maybe, I don't know. April 21st, conversation was held regarding short-term rental program. No. And the corresponding information was provided. No, it wasn't. On June 12th, you requested the inclusion of certain clauses in them. However, these requests cannot be approved due to the current status of your account. Subsequent discussions were held. However, no agreement has been reached to date. Well, that's very interesting. I didn't know. This is very interesting. So that's what it says. That's pretty benign, actually. So I got to respond by July 28th. But you guys know where this goes from here. I'm not responding. Please be advised that the delivery of Prime Towers is currently scheduled for December 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, as of 7 days from now, it's going to be July 31st, and it's going to be August 1st. August, September, October, November, December. So it has 5 months. Wait, August is 8th month. So, okay, whatever. 5 months. That would mean in 5 months, they would have to build the additional 6, 7, 10, 12 floors, put windows in, do the interior, and subdivide each unit and have a title for it. That's not going to happen. unless some of that loans that they got in lines of credit, they spent it to bribe some government officials to actually somehow get titles in less than, well, not even have the property already subdivided, nothing on paper, but somehow subdivided, I guess. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, this looks like there could be some resolution. But here's the thing. They're trying to say December 2026. They're going to try and make sure that all the, whether it's, they didn't say the amount, but I think it could be 39 G's. I don't know. But anyhow, they could be saying all that money is due by December 2026 is what they're trying to allude to. So anyhow, that means this might have to go south. All right. This has to go south. Hey, Eric, can you email me your phone number? Yes, I can. Okay. I want to talk with you on some business. No problem, man. It looks like the final bite. So buyers missed their insurance window. No, they didn't. You have 1 year from breach of contract. And that is correct in theory because all insurance closed January 1st, 2026. Or did it? Remember, their delivery dates of September and December. That means they didn't happen. And oh, by the way, December 2023 and November 2023, when we're in the office talking to them and we have stuff on video where they're saying, oh, yeah, well, we're waiting on this one piece of paper and then we can start breaking ground and all this stuff. That was a lie. Because they knew they needed an environmental license impact report, as I call it, or study. They needed that before they can get a permit to build. They knew this, and they've been taking money from people the whole time knowing they can't build anything, which by default, they knew they couldn't deliver in September 2025, nor can they deliver in 2026. They knew that in 2023. And they damn sure knew it in 2024 when we came back in April. And I was like, hey, okay, so you guys broke ground yet? Because it was November and December when you said, wait another month. December, I come back, wait another month. So now I come back in April or March, whenever it was, and you didn't even break ground. Now we know why, because in October of 2024, you're making announcements saying, oh, here's our environmental license impact, whatever I call it, environmental impact report. And then of course, I'm like, if you knew, so this whole time you knew you had an environmental impact report, this is crazy. That means you could never build until you got this. So you knew this a year and a half ago. But you're lying to all of us. We had the SSN Nation, remember? SSN Lifestyle Investors Forum. 4 or 5 people in a room lying to all of us, and you knew it. So that's already a breach. And by the way, I haven't found my extra payments yet. I'm going to tell you something right now. This is going to get real wiggy pretty fast because once I find my receipts that you didn't apply to my payments, there's a law in Dominican Republic that you're supposed to report that because of money laundering. So if I give you cash, you're supposed to actually report it. By you telling me I only paid 14.1, I better not find these receipts, which I think I know where they are now because I looked a little bit today after I got this email. I was like, you know what? Let me check out on these guys. Because now they're going to be in some hot water. I'm all here for it. We might move into adversarial positions depending on what happens with these emails, which actually I don't even want to talk to them right now. I think it's best if an attorney talks to them. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get another email around November 2026 stating a new completion date. It happened to us. I know, man. I know. They can't deliver in 5 months. So that's not possible. Because they can't finish, subdivide, and get the title to actually do anything. Unless, of course, they're going to try and do what the beach did, ill-advised, or other properties are trying to do. Oh, just take delivery. We'll get the title to you. And it's a year and a half later and people still don't have their titles. But yet they're paying HOA fees. They don't have the amenities, but they're paying HOA fees. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy. I know. All right, I must have missed something. Let's go. I'm not done. Man, I had the one guy in here that was saying, he was saying, we were talking crazy. Now that we have receipts out here, let's see what else we have out here. Let's go. I got some more. Where's the rest of them? Brian P. I got something else too. Let me see. Yeah. Let's go here. I love this right here. Smartphone based contactless iris biometrics for military ID. Woo! We're getting to it, aren't we? They're going to have your eyes. Seek smartphone based contactless IRSD for military ID. They're going to use your eyeballs. Study will assess whether commercial Android devices can capture abyss quality iris images without dedicated biometric hardware. Yes, they can. All you have to do is have a higher megapixel count. It ain't that hard. All right, come on, let's get real. So U.S. Special Operations Command is seeking companies and researchers that can turn ordinary Android phones and tablets into contactless iris collection devices capable of producing biometric images suitable for government identification systems. This already exists. I don't even know what this is right now. Somebody's out here playing around. All right, this exists already. The effort could reduce or eliminate the need for operators to carry a separate iris camera or connect additional biometric hardware to a tactical mobile device. Interesting. The event will be held September 30th at SoftWorks in Tampa, Florida. SoftWorks was established through a partnership intermediary agreement between USOCOM and DefenseWorks to connect the command with companies, researchers. Whoa. The proposed study will examine Android phones and tablets with built-in cameras to determine whether they can locate an iris in an image without a separate. Yes, it can. This kind of already exists. I don't understand this. When was this? This is July 22nd. Attendance is not required. Plans to hold. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you right now. If they start, okay, first your eye, your iris, your fingerprints, your biometrics fingerprints, right? Then they have your facial recognition. Do you understand you can be tracked anywhere in the world once they have all that, which they do because a lot of people have done this. Then when you're walking through places, they have your image. So now, just like you see in movies, they can track you everywhere. And not only that, they can erase your ass. That's another thing. You're not going to be able to go to places. They can just turn your stuff off. You understand where you live? Okay, maybe I can explain something to you. Since you don't understand where you live, I would ask anybody right now who's in America, you're an American citizen, you guys are going to sit there and think, okay, when I get to be 65 years old, I'm going to get my Medicare and other health care benefits and things like this and Social Security and all that, right? Or soon, you can get Social Security sooner. Okay. Do you know what it would take in order for somebody to change your birth date in the Social Security Administration's platform? I hope you're not saying Doge. But do you know what it would take for somebody in 1992 to do it? And then when they did it, they didn't log in? There's no trace of who did it. There's no footprint. Nothing. There's only certain people that would be able to do that. And why would they do it to me? Yeah, you know, when you can erase things, you can change things. That also means when the whole time when you have a credit profiles, when you're applying for things, it doesn't match up in the database. So you get requests. We need to double check and make sure it's you. We need ID. We need passports. We need you to come down. We need some facial recognition. So you live your life with this, why are you guys always checking on my stuff? You don't know later until you get a Social Security paperwork, an email that comes and says, now's a good time to check your stuff, even though you're nowhere near the Social Security age at the time. And you're like, that's weird. Why would I get something from Medicare, Social Security, years in advance? So then when you try to log into the Social Security site and Medicaid, Medicare sites, you sit up there and you log in and they say your birth date don't match. We got an error. You're like, what? What are you talking about right now? Mind you, 20 years later, what are you talking about right now? This is crazy. What do you mean? Same birth date, same time. I'm looking around. What are they talking about right now? Call up. Hey, I just tried to make an account because I got an email saying you should make an account early so you can always track how much you're going to have, this, that, and the other. The lady on the phone says, oh no, we have July 15th as your birthday. I was like, where'd you get this information from? Well, we got it from the Social Security Administration. What are you talking about right now? Where? When? How? She's like, hold on, I'll get back to you. Did you change your name? Or did you do something in 1992? I said, what? What did you just say right now? Oh, okay. I see what's going down now. Okay, this explains my whole experience in 1992. Luckily, I didn't have to rely on anything. Luckily, otherwise I would have known about it. But the thing is, so then of course the next question comes up and it says, hey, so I ask, hey, how could somebody change my birth date in the system unless they work inside the government? She says, exactly. She didn't make any further comments because I'm pretty sure it was taped. I said, well, why don't you just tell me? Can you tell me what date it was? She goes, there's no date on here. All I know is it's 1992. I said, okay, does it show a name? Or, you guys have badge numbers or some sort of reference number. She goes, they're all blank. I said, okay, well, change my date to the correct date. She's like, oh, no, I can't. You got to go down to the Social Security Administration. I said, what? You need to bring in a birth certificate. What? I'm a U.S. citizen. I've been here this whole time. What are you talking about right now? All my paperwork says July 14th, which is my birth date. From my birth. She's like, yeah, this is weird. I've never seen this before. So then I said, oh, let me go down to the Social Security Administration. Let's go find out who this is, because I know when we get there, the guy's going to be able to tell me where, how this happened and all this, that, and the other. Get down to the Social Security Administration. I show him my birth certificate. He looks at the screen. He's like, this particular agent looks at the screen, looks at my birth certificate after I pass it through to the window. He says, is your birth certificate wrong? I was like, is this for real right now? No, your system is wrong. He says, what? I said, yeah, look, 14th, you guys have 15th for some strange reason. By the way, the cat's already out the bag. The lady said it happened in 1992. He's like, what? I said, yeah. Now, can you pull my stuff up and get my correct birth date on the system? But I said, while you pull it up, why don't you tell me who did it? What department? What agency? And he confirms the exact same thing. He says, there's no name, no reference, no nothing. I said, right. So you guys, when I sat out here and I told you, you don't know where you live, you don't know what country you live in. They can erase you. They can do anything they want. So when they're sitting there and you're acting like my passport's good, You're acting like my birth certificate's good. You're acting like everything is good. My bank account is good. All that stuff is only good as long as the government says it's good. They can change the numbers anytime they want on anything. I have more stories. Stay tuned. You guys have no idea. All right. I know you heard some stories over the years. I've told parts of that story before, but I may not have ended it because I went to Social Security and I never told that part of the story where the guy officially said, there's no record of who changed it. I said, have you ever seen this before? No, I haven't. Have you ever heard of this before? No, I haven't. So I press him a little bit more saying, hey, come on, man. You can go back there or something. You can find out who actually did this, what computer or station they were at, anything. He looks, he says, no, man. And by the way, I'm not going any further. I was like, okay. And by the way, that brings up another story because bottom line to this is I used to tell my friends, I told this story before, I'd get pulled over by police and I'd tell my friends, I'm not getting a ticket. They would say, what? What are you talking about right now? They're like, okay, I got to see this. I'm driving in Lake Tahoe. I get over in the middle lane. And because the other two lanes, there was cars coming, I kind of drove in the middle lane, like, 5 to 10 miles per hour, waiting to try and get over. So after I can finally get over, all of a sudden, blue lights in the back. Woo, woo. I'm like, what the hell? My friends are from Oakland, Bay Area. So, of course, they kind of freak out when they see blue lights. And they're good guys. I mean, they're just business dudes. They're cool guys. Never in trouble. Never been in trouble. But they still freak out because they're from the Bay. They're from Oakland. So I tell them, don't worry, guys. They're not going to give me a ticket. Nothing's going to happen. And they're in the car while they're, sitting behind us. They're like, man, I got to see this. This is not going to happen. You're telling me they pull you over. They're not going to give you a ticket. You're going to drive off. I said, exactly. He's like, okay. So they all were quiet. The cop comes up and he says, hey, there's a limit to how far you can drive in that center lane. I think it was 100 feet or something of this nature. And he said whatever the number was. I said, really? I said, that's weird because, the traffic was coming and I couldn't get over. So I figured I'd just, roll a little speed and then wait for the traffic to pass and then I can get over. He goes, yeah, but that's why I'm stopping you. I have to give you a ticket because you went past, let's call it 100 feet. I said, are you serious right now? You ain't got nothing better to do. I didn't cause there was no accident. That's the whole reason I had to wait. He's like, you could have stopped. I said, nah, that's more hazardous to me because now another car that's pulling into the center lane could hit me. This is on Lake Tahoe Boulevard. So there's cars going each side. I said, and there's businesses on each side of the street. I was like, nah, man, I don't think about, no, I needed to cruise just to get in. He's like, well, license and registration. He takes it back there. He sits back there for, I don't know, 5 minutes. The guys are like, oh, we're going to jail. That's how they're acting. I'm like, dudes, stop. Nothing's going to happen. They come back. He comes back. He says, just be a little bit more careful. Have a nice day, Mr. Bird. My friends are like, what did he stop you for? I said, oh, you know why. Let's just get real. You know why. I'm hanging up here in Lake Tahoe with you guys. We cooling. He says, I said, you guys know I was in federal jail before, right? They go, yeah, man. We know all about it. I said, yeah, they tried to do something to me. So there was like this little conflict we have with government. And he pulled up my file. And once he saw what was in my file, they were like, leave the man alone. And they're like, no way. I said, yes way. You don't know where you live. I've been saying this, you don't know where you live for a long time. You don't know where you live. I said, that's the only reason I knew nothing's going to happen. And they're like, this is crazy. They said, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't have believed it. I said, yeah. I said, this happens a lot because I get pulled over a lot just for the hell of it. I said, but now I have a little protection. And they're like, what does that mean? I said, I'm not even going to get into it right now because you won't believe it. So when they pull me up, that's how it works. So anyhow, I'm in the system. So remember, I'm in the system. I told you guys, I'm still in the system. They still F with me. So I roll with it. But nonetheless, that's why I get happy. Now, Brian P, I got to tell you something right now. There's something that I'm putting together, and unfortunately, you cannot be part of it. I have an SSN Nation member as a part of this explosion that's going to happen. And yeah, the tech industry would be on notice. And that's why there has been a change because I can't actually go through AI. I can't send anything on the internet. I have to do everything offline. Can't be connected to the internet. Can't be ever have any piece of software or a phone if I decided to use them could never be connected to the internet because there's web crawlers on everybody's internet connected phones, laptops, tablets, desktops. That's how they keep track of you without you knowing because they are good. They know how to send bots, web crawlers. They know how to send payloads through so they can extract your information because you're using their devices and they're all friends. Once you understand that, then you have to avoid them. And those AI situations, do you really think that AI, that they're willing to do anything necessary to spy on everybody illegally? Do you really think that they're not sitting there trying to go through your information on your laptops while you're connected to the internet? And once you're connected to the internet, their web crawlers and spiders and all that are still working. And when you connect again, they'll send a payload of info back. Think about this. Do you know where you live? Apparently, a lot of people think they live in some other country. Just remember, you do live in surveillance country, just like it's China, North Korea, South Korea, EU. You live in surveillance states. The only reason nothing's really popped off in surveillance states, other than the real ones, communist countries like China and North Korea, and some other countries. But the point is, the only reason it has never popped off is because it's been civility. It's been you had laws. So there's never been any people that have came out and did some outbreaks, right? The protesting's one thing, but there's people dying right now due to ICE protests. And then they say that the person that they killed are terrorists. And the American citizens are not outraged at all enough. So you go from immigrants that you're mistreating, then you go to Americans that you're killing because they're protesting the mistreatment of other human beings. That's some wild work right there. All right? I need a ghost phone, Brian P. That's exactly correct. So just remember everything you talk about with your phone on or off, the apps that you downloaded have access to your microphone, speaker, photo cameras, biometric scanners in the apps. They have web crawlers. You guys don't know what we have done, do you? But don't worry, this isn't anything new. This is something from way back. That's why I was able to have back then in the 90s, 2000s, they could pull up my file. That's what they did, right? They would pull up your file. That's why the cops are back there 5 minutes, 10 minutes. For most minorities, white people, you guys might get off like in 2 minutes. And I'll give you another example because it's story night. I'm coming down from Sacramento. I'm in the Sierras. Coming on the downhill from the ski resort. I can't remember the name of it. But coming down to Truckee on Highway 80. Because it's downhill and it's pretty steep into Truckee. If you just coast, you're probably going to go like 80 miles an hour, right? So on this particular day, I have a white dude in the front He's got a three. It's one of them 3 series. And then behind me, first of all, the white dude's going about 85 while we're going up the hill, coming down. So I'm just right behind him because I like to ride like 85. So I'm just following him. Next thing I know, before we get up to the truck, up to the mountain, Sierra, I think it's called Sierra Ski, up to the mountain, we get up to the apex before we come down. All of a sudden, 2 more cars pull behind. So we have 4 cars going like 85. None of us are related. The other 2, I think, might behind me, but it's 4 of us. We're going down. We start going down to Truckee. All of a sudden, we go down, call it a half a mile down. All of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror. I see blue light. I'm like, that's crazy. Not directly behind me, but, on my side mirror, I see blue light. So now I see the, like, I see the cop, like, waving in his hands in my side mirror, like, telling the guy back there, pull over. That's the 4th car. Next thing I know, the 4th car slides over a little bit, but now he takes off and catches the 3rd car. He tells him. So now I'm like, what the hell? He comes up to me. He comes up to the guy in the Beamer, the white old dude. Okay. So now he starts in the back. As he's walking down, he says, hey, you got to wait right here. When he comes by me. So I assume he told everybody, wait right here. He gets right up to the guy, the white dude. And let's just say at this point, the white dude's probably, in my estimation, probably 50 to 60 years old. I can't really tell. Just an older gentleman. I see him talk to the guy. The white dude sits there. He has a drop top. He sits there in the car, talks to the cop. The cop says, whatever. The guy gets out the car, right? The driver, the white dude, gets out of the car, and the police, the cops are sitting there talking. One cop talking to him. Apparently, after he talks to the guy for like 2 minutes, the white dude gets in his car, takes off. He comes up to me. I said, hey man, this dude was in front of me. You let him go. That was awfully nice of you. So you're going to let me go too, right? What? License and registration. What? What do you mean? You let him go. I'm behind him. So what are you doing? License and registration. He goes back and checks. He comes back 3 to 4 minutes later. He brings me a ticket. The ticket's in Truckee, California. And it's something like 8 a.m. And I don't remember the date, but it was short. It was like 8 a.m. next week. So I sit here and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Seriously right now? So now I just sit there and wait because I want to see what's going to happen. Sure enough, he goes back to that guy and the next guy. The next guy ends up being like the last 2 are Mexican guys or look Latin. He gives us 3 a ticket. The white dude he lets go. So now I go to court in Truckee because they were like, Truckee's like 45 minutes to an hour outside of Sacramento. So they're thinking, oh yeah, they ain't going to show up in court. They're not from around here. I don't know where the other guys were from or anybody was, but they know I'm from Sac. So they know he ain't coming for no 8 a.m. appointment over here and all that. So they took their risk. I showed up at 8 a.m. So when I showed up at 8 a.m. and the other 2 Mexican dudes showed up and we're sitting there talking. I was like, hey man, did you see that they let the white dude go? They go, yeah, man. That's exactly what we were saying. We were like, we couldn't even believe it. And he comes up and gives all 3 of us a ticket. While I'm following you. We're following you. You're following that dude in the Beamer. And it's like, we all 3 got tickets while they let him go. We're like, yeah, America. I'm like, America, right. So the judge comes out. I'm up first, alphabetical order of the 3 of us. And I was like, Your Honor, this is BS. You don't understand. He pulled over 4 of us. And he let this dude in a Beamer ahead of us go. I said, so we should have been let go. We were following him. You know what the judge says? He says, I'm dismissing your case, Mr. Bird. You're free to go. You don't have no ticket. I was like, what? Are you? I said, right on. Now, I said, you know what? I'm going to wait and see if the boys get away. All 3 of us, they dismissed the case. If we wouldn't have showed up, you would have either had a warrant or you would have had to higher insurance prices, whatever the case may be. I guess that's what the guy was counting on. So then when I was there, I said, Your Honor, is the police officer here today? He's like, no. Because I was going to be like acting a fool. He's like, no. I said, I know he ain't here. Because it was BS. So anyhow, nothing happens. We walk out, all's good. Now, I have other stories, but that's enough. Let's go. Good luck, Americans. Do you know where you live? I know where I live. Do you know where you live? Now, we got more to talk about, but that's about it. Need ownership. When Brian P. was talking about ownership, he was talking about the App Store. Who's going to make an App Store for you, ladies and gentlemen? You better know somebody that can program. Better know somebody that knows something about computers, because if they know something about computers is one thing. That's fine. You better know how to make a defense network. What do I mean by defense? So these gatekeepers can't get into your system to steal your intellectual properties. Meaning, why you're kicking their ass, they need to find out. So as long as they can't find out, they can't do Just remember that. So you have to do it more than one way. Now you have to do it. Wow, being an interracial, you notice things like that more, unfortunately. Exactly. Exactly, Biz Nessa. You got that right. You got that exactly right. At this time, I wasn't married. At this time, I was solo. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, this is how like I said, people don't even understand. I live in California, right? So when they're playing NWA in the late 80s, early 90s, this is our life in America. I don't really care where you lived. But again, in Sacramento, it's still California, the capital. But when I'm driving down the street, it's driving while black. Cops pulling you over, driving while black. You're walking while black, cops pull you over. Saying the usual. There's some stuff that happened in the neighborhood. You fit the description. I'm like, have you lost your mind right now? Fit the description of what? Show me. Tell me. What's the description look like? No answer as usual. Oh, like you. Yeah, okay. What are they wearing? Well, they said black pants, blue shirt, hat. Sure they did. I'm like, why are you bothering me right now? And by the way, you need to get off my lawn. Dude's like, what? I said, yeah, I live here. What are you talking about? Yeah, right. So when you have this interaction with police, you don't think they're friendly. You don't like these dudes. I hate them. But here's the funny part about the dichotomy of this hate. It's not really hate. It's this displeasure for them to just pull up on you and act like, it's not really hate. But here's the problem. If there's something going on and you need help, you dial 911. These same dudes. And when they come to your house, you know what they come? They check. Oh, let me see whose house we going to. Oh, it's that guy. He says there's a problem. Let me draw my weapon and just point it at people and act like there's a problem before we even get to the door and ring the doorbell. Yeah, when you know what country you live in, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck, Americans, because we have a rogue nation in front of us. But okay, let's go. Here we go. That's the USA, but I love my country. My ancestors died for it. You got that right, business. So that's what I'm trying to explain to everybody. Do you know what our ancestors had to go through if we got to go through this? Imagine under Jim Crow. Imagine under slavery. It's diabolical what you guys don't know about that you only read in books. It was worse. Picnic. Okay, I won't get into that. While people are yelling and cheering and happening and eating food, and by the way, eating the black people, cannibalism. Yes, I know it's disgusting history that they try to keep out of the history books. Do you know who the cannibals are? Do you know who the primates are? Do you know who the Neanderthals are? They're the same ones doing that crap up until 1970, 80s. And even to this day, they still have a few old people that still try to pick nicks. All right, enough. Enough. We got into a good luck America. This is how my life has been, and most minorities in America is good luck in America. But we have freedoms, allegedly. We have law and order, allegedly. We have fair play, allegedly. There's nothing fair, no law and order. Just depends on if you have a judge or you have a defense attorney. Depends. Systemic situations is why it's good luck Americans, because that little thing, when you didn't fight for my rights, when you just said, just because they said that you were in jail, you must be a bad guy, just because the police lie on the stands and you believe it must be true when it's a lie, you didn't fight to find out. No, you sat there on the sidelines. You said, oh, it must be true. Why would they lie on a person? Why would they make up fake police reports? It's not true. Yeah. It's hard to live in a country when you know there's stuff going on, and yet there's people that say, oh, there's nothing happening. Oh, no, they wouldn't do that. The police are righteous. They're all good. And like I'll tell everybody right now, the one thing I used to tell my friends back in the day, I said, explain something to me if you like these clowns. How come they can't just hang out in any restaurant, bar, and nightclub? Why do they have to hang out in their own restaurant, bar, and nightclub? I'll tell you why. Because they never can remember the faces of people that they done jacked over the last 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, that went to jail for nothing, setting people up. I said, that's why they can't be out here just hanging out. They got to look over their shoulders. So, of course, they got to all hang out at the same spot. Okay, my rant's over. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Exactly. Let's go. Now, regarding the App Store. First of all, the App Store, you're going to need somebody again. What you're going to have to do is, like I said, Apple, Google, those are the main players. They try to block other people from even forming an App Store. And once you do form the App Store, they try to take it down. They try to send cease and desist. They try to do all this stuff. But remember, anytime somebody, you have to have an agnostic one, or you're going to have to choose an Apple one or a Google one, Android or iOS. So you have ways that you can do something. But remember, when these people use their phones, they're going to deploy their bots and web crawlers and spiders and their viruses and trying to extract information from your App Store, from all the apps on your App Store. And then they're going to try to say, well, you used our software, so here's a bill. They're not going to do a cease and desist. They'll just say, here's a bill. Then if you don't pay them, then now you're going to have a lawsuit in the situation, right? It's that simple. They don't have many moves. That's the moves they got. And they have a law, they can pay somebody $50 million, $10 million, $5 million, and the lawyers will be jumping all over your ass indefinitely for these clowns. All right? They don't care. Remember, lawyers only work for their clients. So it's their job to F you up. Which, if you're on the defense side, whichever side of the table you're on, it's your lawyer's job to F the other person up, the other corporation up. Except oftentimes the dynamics is one company's worth 500 million, another company's worth 500,000. So obviously there's a dynamic with lawyers and how much they cost. So If you don't have a few $100,000 sitting around from the start, you're going to have a problem. Just saying. Now, the App Store has to be however you want to set it up. It's doable. I mean, it's doable. But are you willing to fight Apple, Google, and whoever else? Because remember, you're going to be taking food off their table. And they're going to be trying to stop you. Are you going to be prepared for that? Are you going to be prepared for things such as one day things start happening kind of weird for you? Once they find out you're the nemesis, unless you're going to be incognito. But once they find out who the real owner or they're going to start messing with you. And they're going to make calls to the federal government. They're going to make calls to the senators. They're going to make calls to the state legislature. Wherever your corporation is, they're going to be making calls, trying to make sure that they can F with you. They're going to tell these police agencies, not police, but federal, they're going to call them up. Remember, these guys got lots of money. Okay, just remember this. You guys don't understand where you live. Okay, again, in case you're new here, I did a company in the 80s, late 80s. The short story is the automakers gave the California legislature $20 million to change the laws so I wouldn't kick their ass. Do you understand? They bribed our government. And since I was much younger, I couldn't believe it. I said, damn, I thought this was a capitalist system. I didn't realize that you could actually pay people to change laws so then therefore you can stay ahead of your competition. That's when I changed my whole, luckily I was in my 20s. So therefore I wasn't sheep-like. At that point, once that happened, and yes, they did try to arrest me too. They made the phone call. They lied on the stand. Well, not lied on the stand. The prosecutor lied. And then when the judge found out that they're like, hey, wait, what do you mean you let him keep doing business if he was doing stuff illegal when the Department of Motor Vehicles inspection team came? That's what I call them right now. But actually, they were higher than that, like detectives, or not Department of Motor Vehicles. I don't know what to really call them. I wish I had their cards. But nonetheless, they go, hey, wait. The judge says, hey, wait, hold on. So wait, was he in, under legal status or not? Because if you had the DMV investigators come to his office and then you still let him do business for a year and a half, 2 years later, what are we doing in here? Only because the judge said something. If he didn't say nothing and these other judges, the prosecution was trying to bury my ass. That's the only reason they didn't bury my ass. But the point is, they still made life difficult because at that point now, I'm in court having to defend myself for something that they changed laws on. Then these guys gets a prosecution to sit there and try to lie. And then when the judge found out that these dudes lied and then found out that I was under DMV investigators came to my office, he was like, hold on, man. This ain't going to happen on my watch. You guys need to get out my courtroom right now. I got to figure out what the hell's going on. This doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you're damn right, Your Honor. What are we talking about? You can see the setups. He's like, hold on. Hold on, young man. I'm like, yeah, so you're going to dismiss the case? No, I'm not. What the hell? What? You already know this is lying. This is bogus BS. He's like, all right, well, you guys go in the hallway and talk. I'm like, this can't be for real. Could have just dismissed it, Anyhow, that's the kind of stuff we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Or I live in. That's my life. So don't come talking to me about anything. All right? I didn't have... And what's even worse, they tried to involve my family. Right? And not saying my family was in it because they weren't. But they were still basically... They did a background check on my fam. So then they figured, okay, their family's going to try and help them. which means they're going to try and extract resources is what I'm trying to say. You know, pay 20, 30, $40,000 to help me in defense possibly, or pay any bail monies, which is, again, you're in court talking, and then they come out here and add additional charges by arresting you in the courthouse. Yeah, all this stuff that you don't see in the movies. Maybe you do see in the movies. That's my life. Wait till the book comes out. You got about 2 years for that intellectual property. That's ownership, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a book coming out in about 2 years. That's right. And actually, it could be a series, which I'm trying to get these guys to do a series. I mean, actually, we can do it, quite frankly. But I'm trying to get somebody else to do it, because that's going to be awesome. Because this stuff, will never believe it's real. They'll be like, this can't be happening. This is not. They'll think it's just a movie. They won't realize, and I'm not even going to say it's real. I'm just going to make it. And I'm not going to say it's a documentary. I'm not going to say it's based on a true story. I'm just going to be like listening and watching on the internet, and they're going to be going, this could not have happened. No way. Yeah, okay. That's what I want to see. I'm going to do it. All of it's true. And then some. And I have backup because we're actually going to have a book first. That's right. There's going to be a book first. And we're writing the book. This isn't creative licenses. This is like people are going to have names. They're going to have. So anybody at any time I could have on the show and say, hey, man, did this happen right here? You were with us. This happened or not? Tell the people what happened. All the stuff they do on podcasts right now, I could actually do, but I'm not, because I'm already too much of a target as it is. But we're still going to make a book in about 2 years. It'll be out. Because book number 1, I told you guys already, is being done. But book number 1, I'm not really in that part because this is a 2-person book. And the second book is where I enter. So me and him are doing the book. And we're going to go into all kind of stuff because both of us are doing different things. And it's going to be a wild episodes in the book. People still to this day, my boy tells people this stuff. They go, you're lying. He calls me up and he's like, man, will you tell people what happened at such and such place, such and such time? And then I'm telling the story and they're like, damn, that really happened? Yes. And they're like, oh, you didn't even have to prompt him or nothing. I said, what are you doing? What's going on? He's like, yeah, they didn't believe it, man. All this stuff is crazy. I'm telling you, I love it. All right, we're 2 hours in. I got to run, ladies and gentlemen. The internet is the thing. Tech is the thing. That's the only way you're going to be able to protect yourself. Remember, there's AI out here right now. AI bot just went berserk. You can tell AI to attack another company, find their vulnerabilities, and you can go through the internet so easily. This is going to turn into a cage match. This is going to turn into, you need to protect, because most people are going to be on servers. That's where everybody resides, on a server. So once they find out where your servers are, they're going to try and attack the server to extract your information. So now all of a sudden, you're going to have to be on servers that have their protection system. Then you're going to have your own protection system on that server. So now it almost turns into a situation where the bots, the AI is going to figure out a way to get through, just like the rogue AI did their thing, right? The same thing's going to happen. So this is where we go. AI has turned into the Terminator series. It's already here. They just don't tell you. And basically, you'll be able to get into anywhere once you understand how AI works. And that's why this starts getting scary. And also, you're going to need your intellectual properties. If you write a book, you need to copyright it. You make a movie, you need to make sure you have chain of title and you own it. You make music, you make sure you own it. You make TV series, you own it. You make comedy specials, you own it. Any production you do, you own it. And you're going to have to be fearful of several things. Let me put it to you in another perspective. You are into the movie business. You know somebody in the movie business. They say, hey, man, I'm going to make a deal with you. We'll enter into this deal where my production company, I'll produce the movie for you. You're thinking, oh, this is good. They're going to make the movie so I can go out here and get a cast and crew and everything. So we're in. You make the movie. This is diabolical, and this works across all productions. Since he did this for you for free for the production, do you understand? Unless there's something written down, that entails partly ownership because you didn't write an agreement that it was work for hire. You see how works? This is diabolical. You see how those rich guys stay rich? Because they don't tell the artist if it's music. They don't go, they go, oh yeah, we have a producer that's coming down. They don't tell you that the producer could actually own some, all of that music because they did it for free. So no matter what you do, you have to pay somebody. Work for hire if you're in a group setting where you have several different people or businesses involved and you want to own it, you have to own everything. Just letting you know. Because when this comes out in the wash, the search engines, the advertisements you see on everything, all that makes money all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Every ad. And they're using your stuff to do it. That's what Amazon and Netflix do. That's what the app stores do. 30% on every transaction from people that use the apps on there. That's a lot of money. So once you understand how the system works, they don't need workers. They don't need you. They just need creators. And AI can create anything now. So now, what would you do? Here's what I would do, just so you understand. If I could make something, I would do things like AI. If I could make AI, I would make AI. And then I would do what Warner Music has done. They make licensing deals with AI creators. You heard what I said, licensing deals, because they own the music. So in order to use our music, you got to pay me a license fee and probably something else too. You understand how that works? Because the copyright works is still copyright works. The AI music, now that is not copyrighted works. But if you want to recreate my music in AI, then you're going to have to license it from me. See how this goes? Just saying. The music is copywritten. The film is copyrights. You understand? Trademarks is another thing. Trademark logo, that's good. Trademark name, that's good. When you file for the trademarks, that's ownership as well. So remember, these conglomerates, the Fortune 500 companies, usually you have a holding company, usually you have a couple of subsidiaries, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 100, like Berkshire Hathaway. But the point is, that structure in itself, each piece of that structure has a value, including at the top of the pyramid, which is your holding company. So if you have trademarks, that's one thing. You have domain names and you have LLCs or C Corps underneath a holding company, the value of all the companies go up, flow up to the holding company. So your holding company could be worth $1 billion. And each separate piece could be worth 100 million, 200 million. The same thing works in reverse. If you said, well, my holding company is worth $1 million, then you would say that's nice, but the pieces, this one is worth 300,000, this one's worth 200,000, that one's worth 300,000, and then you make profits so it sims up. So yeah, that whole corporation is worth 1 million. The holding company, if you sold it as one, is $1 million. But you increase value because you own the holding company that you control owns the other subsidiaries. Berkshire Hathaway is well known. They put out information. That's ownership, ladies and gentlemen. And not only is it ownership, that's asset protection. Because your holding company doesn't do anything. Okay? You don't interact. It's not a service business with people. Okay? You just own these entities. So these entities have to operate separately. You don't give them any special favor. They're intentionally separate businesses. So you have to treat any interaction with those businesses as separate businesses. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed. Your corporate veil is going to be crushed in a court of law. And by the way, just so you understand how this game works, you can be a $1 million company. You can even be a $1 billion company. But if you start being a $50 billion company or a $20 billion company, a $5 billion company, and it's technology, you know these technology companies will not sit on the sideline trying to figure out how to destroy you, stop you, buy you, because they can't take the heat with competition. So they're going to go with all of the above. Hey, man, you're doing great. We know your company's worth $1 billion. Or I'll use our example, $5 billion. You know what? Why don't we just buy it from you for $20 billion right now? That's very enticing because you're only doing business to make money. Now somebody gives you $20 billion, which does generational wealth forever. Unless you're the Vanderbilts. I just had to throw that in there. So again, ownership matters. And that's why, especially in tech, the valuations are so much higher because the the amount of people that have to work on the tech is so much less. So that increases the value because your expenses are so much lower when you actually have the necessary sales coming in. So they will rather buy the competition, put it on the shelf if they have to, or use some of the technology. It's a win-win because they're worth $1 trillion or $500 billion. So now they take out the competition. You see how this works, but you can't do it if you don't have ownership. Do you understand? So if you walk up to them and say, "Oh yeah, I don't own this," they're going to be looking like, "Who's the owner then? What's the structure here? We trying to buy this thing, right? Oh, I just work for the company. You don't own it. Okay, who's the owner? We got to find out. We got to find out how we can buy this." Owning it means when somebody tries to buy it, you can sell it. All right? Now, if you're like me, I'm different. I'm just going to tell you right now. If I'm kicking their ass, they can't come to me and say, "We want to buy you." Because basically I'll be nice at first. I'll be like, "No, thank you." They say, but we're going to give you 20, 30 billion. I'd say, "No, thank you." Because I have a different agenda. I'm just trying to kick your ass. I ain't trying to join you. That's not in my DNA. Not with you gatekeepers. Unless, of course, you all of a sudden are going to make sure you're going to make the humankind better. You're going to start being a little more philanthropic. You're going to start donating. In fact, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just all chip in? You know, the Fortune 500. Why don't we all just chip in a few hundred million? You know, we could put a dent into world hunger. I mean, come on now. You know what kind of feedback you're going to get with "we're going to end world hunger"? They're going to feedback with, have you lost your mind? I'm like, guys, you just bought corporations that you could have ended world hunger. You bought corporations for 20, 30, 50, 60 billion dollars. What are you talking about right now? Don't you want to end world hunger? We could do it. You could be the good guys. Then maybe you can buy my business. But nah, that wouldn't be good enough. How about everybody have livable wages? How about that? And how about we all pay 10% tax on all corporate profits? They're not going for that. Okay, it's that simple. So no, I'm not joining up. I'm not selling. I'm just going to kick your ass. Enough said, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking crazy tonight, reckless. Talk about it. He says talk about it. I'm missing something here. What's happening? I'm missing something. Anyhow, I'm about to run. I'm about to be in a maybe not even a big battle with Larimar. Maybe we can still be friends. We got communications that's going to be open with somebody. So it's going to be whatever it is. Facts, ownership is boss. Exactly, business. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. When you control your own narratives, you control your own way, you control your own business, you can pivot faster as well than being a big conglomerate. So oftentimes you can catch up to them so fast until they realize that you're taking away some of their market share. Then all of a sudden they start going, wait a minute, wait, we're losing money over here because of this person. We got to buy them out. And so they make you an outrageous deal. And I can't be mad at anybody. If somebody says, your company is, you're struggling, you're trying to do it, but you're still doing good things. Yes, you're making a good living. You got employees making a good living, but you're still having to survive, right? And then somebody walks up to you and your company's worth, let's just say $50 million. And somebody comes to you and says, you know what, man, I'll give you $1 billion or 500 million or 250 million, whatever. That's life-changing money. So most people, 99.9% of people are going to say yes, of course. Because you can't even spend all that in 5-6 generations. So that's understandable. I can't be mad at any entrepreneur because they get into business to make money. I get in my intentions are different. When I get into real business, which I haven't been in a long time, but when I get into real business, which I would take on any tech stuff is real business for me because I know who I'm dealing with. So then it's a whole nother ball game because I'm actually trying to kick their ass. It's not about the money. I'm going to make money, but I still want to kick their ass. And I want to take over because I want to be the good guys. I want to be out here saying, hey guys, we got 1,000,000 jobs. What's the livable wage count? And they go, hey man, it's $120,000 a year. We got 1,000,000 jobs for 120 a year, but hey, we can't hire everybody, but we got to hire, hey, elite, best. We got to try and get the best people. That's all it is. It's not going to matter other than that. So put in your stuff. Let's go. Something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? Make an impact. You got to do philanthropy. You got to go out here and be like, hey man, people are starving. There's a lot of homeless people. You know what the worst thing you can do in America is that there's 600,000 starving people, homeless people in America. There's more than that, but let's just say there's 600,000 homeless people in America. Do you know what it would be like instead of Bill Gates and J.D. Vance and the guy from Palantir buying up farmland and acres and aquifers? And it'd be so much better if they just said, you know what, guys? I think I'm just going to build like 700,000 homes. Not the big ones, just 700,000. What? I can go to Amazon and buy a tiny house. I can go to Home Depot. So yeah, okay, we can make something. In fact, we can make something really for $50,000, $100,000 from scratch. It won't be big, but at least it would be someplace that would be a shelter, a kitchen, 2 bedrooms, at least 1.5, 2 bathrooms, and you can get people off the street. Seriously, you could almost end homelessness in America, just like you can end child hunger if you want to spend a few billion. I mean, that's a lot of money, right? So if you get to a stratosphere, you owe it to humanity is the way I see it. That's the way I'm looking at it. And so that's why I can't rock with them guys. Because I'm trying to do something else. I'm trying to change a whole system where we're going to make an ecosystem for trying to do something. And unfortunately, this was my original idea when I was much younger. And I do have an opportunity right now, with the grace of God, to actually make some stuff happen. But now I have to be a lot more strategic than I used to be ever, because this has to do with guys that can have my fingerprints or might have my iris or my facial ID, because we've already went through, you went through airport and you had to stand in front of cameras going in and out of the country. Even when you check in nowadays, they want to do the camera occasionally. Your phone, you might have biometrics on your phone. All that is captured, right? So anything can happen. Now that we have AI and it's only going to get worse, they can do deep fakes, they can do everything. So anything can happen. So you have to be a little bit scarce if you're going to be in the technology industry. And we have Brian P talking about an app store. Does he not understand? You may understand what an app store is. It's bigger and badder than what you think. Most people just go to app stores and download apps. But if you're on the other side of the fence, if you're Apple, Google, or anybody else, there's so much more to it. It's not just the apps. It's just less than 30%. There's so much more to it. That's why these corporations don't want other people to be able to do it. And they make it very hard. They have gatekeepers. And then you have people that says we're not going to do business with you. That's the type of cachet that these guys have. Because they can bribe anybody. Literally. Hey, do this. We'll give you a couple mil. You need a vacation home? We'll buy that too. What else you need? Fuck, new cars? No problem. Just make this go away. By any means necessary. We're watching it right now in the United States by this administration. Picking up people for picking up paint, the chip paint out of the pool, arresting people for protesting. All that stuff leads to one thing. The gatekeepers are going to start gatekeeping even worse because there's no money unless they can steal it from us. The government, taxpayer money, because the government's broke. Just remember that when you have your bank accounts out here, all right, in the United States, just remember that. You might want to get a bank account outside the U.S. as well. Real estate outside the United States as well. Businesses outside the United States as well. All right? Just remember this. And ownership is a must. You got audio. You're watching this right now. You got video. You're watching this right now. You can put in audio and create an audiobook. Your life story. It's fascinating. Even though you don't think so, a lot of people might think so. You got a story? Or can you create stories? Put it in the audiobooks. Copyright it. You can get paid. That's simple, right? You want to be a creator, you can be on any of these platforms, but unfortunately you don't own the platform, so you're going to take deep cuts. You're on TikTok, I think it's you get, is it 70-30 or 30-70? I don't know. I'm not on TikTok. I mean, I am, but I don't do stuff on there. YouTube, I think, what is theirs? 60-40? No, it's I don't even know that either. I think it's 40. It's 55 or 60 YouTube, 45 or 40 to the creator. Those are significant L's in reality. All the platforms is a split from the advertisement while you're supplying them with the creation. So audiobooks works the same way. You want to make a book, you can put it on Amazon. You can do self-publishing. I know there's a lot of people doing it, but the point is you own it. And then you can actually shop it around the movies, TV, all this stuff, even though you may not be able to get there because, there's gatekeepers. But at least you have something tangible. Hey, just like my brother's books. These are tangible. Ownership. Right? Ownership. Star Cruiser Falcon 1, Duran Drake. Star Cruiser Falcon 2, G Generation. You can find these on Amazon right now. Okay. Ownership. Checks still coming. Just saying. All right? This is what we're talking about tonight, too. Good luck, Americans. But you guys already have the skill set. You have life experiences. You just are looking in the wrong way that I got to go work for somebody else. That's fine. Work for somebody else. Meantime, on the side, write books. Own it. Do audio? Own it. Do videos? Own it. But see, again, I don't get checks, so it doesn't matter. But the point of the matter is you can get checks. Some people get thousands of views. They get nice checks. We don't get thousands of views. We don't even get 100 views. And that's been 6 years. Some videos did go slightly viral. I think one of the videos, I haven't looked lately, but because I've been on here so long, some of the videos might have 12,000 views, maybe 5. That's it, out of over 1,000 videos. All the rest of the videos have 250, 300 views or less. That just gives you an idea. There's no money in it for me. We're on iHeart. We're on iTunes. We're on a ton of podcasts. Don't get paid from that either. Okay? Just letting you guys know this is all fun and games. We're getting information out here. That's what this has always been about. It's never been about the money. So just so you guys know, I don't get checks. I was demonetized from YouTube for about a year and a half. And all of a sudden, like 9 months, 10 months ago, this thing said, oh, you're on the YouTube something. What do you call that stuff? Monetization. I'm like, what? What's this? This is somebody sent me a wrong email or something. I know I'm not monetized. It says, congratulations, you can get you can go sign in and make sure you're monetized now. We have some new features. So that's why you guys might see some books underneath the live streams and underneath videos. That's why you may see that. But I don't get checks because we don't have enough views. Just saying, you have to clear like $100 per month. So that tells you right there, I don't get checks. So that means we don't clear $100 per month, right? You only have to be 100 or more. Just so you know. So we do have memberships. So that's nice. But I got a check 2 months ago for $110. That's after about 6 months. Just so you know. So what does that make? $15 a month? That's about my checks. And I don't get checks because it has to be $100 or more before they disperse it. Just so you guys understand. I don't own nothing. I don't even own the video. They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitch. They actually own it, but I don't have enough views, so I don't get monetized. Yes, Rumble as well. Forgot about that. But don't worry. All across the board, it's all the same. 10 views, 50 views, 100 views, 150 views, 200 views, 300 views. That's it. Doesn't matter which platform we are on. It's all the same. Imagine that. But it's okay, ladies and gentlemen, because now you guys, OCs, ordinary citizens, look, an old hat, I just found it. SSN Media. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot about this altogether, which is kind of funny because I'm still in the lab. I'm still learning some stuff. We're still going to kick some ass. I just don't know when it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be in the next 9 months. But the fact of the matter is, I'm still studying right now because after some things came to this hold up, I was like, hold on, let me hone some more skill sets because maybe I'm missing something. So let me redo some things. And then by redoing some things, I came upon some other things because I took a little more time and I started scraping into areas that people don't even know about. So that's why this is going to be very interesting. And so now there could be, if I'm talking about businesses, there could be like 15 subsidiaries. If I haven't ran the numbers yet, but I'm just production right now. It could be 15 subsidiaries. And by the way, I forgot all about the SSN Nation Media, which actually means you have to have a publish media corporation. That would be pretty good too. So that means we could be approaching 16 subsidiaries, which just because I found this hat in the closet, I was like, wait, I got to wear this one tonight. And so that's what I was like, oh, I forgot about having a news outlet, media outlet, even though I'm not really a big fan of that because I don't want to be the media person. That means I have to hire people. How about AI? I don't have to hire anybody. Now that I'm thinking about it, we're in the age of AI. What the heck? What am I saying? You guys realize they have studios that are fake? All right, 2 hours and 46 minutes. Studios that are fake, meaning they're artificial intelligence, virtual reality studios. If you guys go check some of the shorts, I actually showed where a guy is standing in a small area and it looks like he's in a library with a desk. I can't remember if the desk was there or the library books were there. I think part of it was real, the rest of it was all fake. And in the camera, it looked like regular room. I was like, golly. And then when I found out how much it cost to make that happen, oh yeah, now you realize no ordinary citizen generally can do it. But of course, over time, this will change. It'll get less and less. But if you're trying to broadcast this with $10,000 cameras and the software is about 100, well, one company I know, it was $160,000, that limits who can buy this stuff for 160, right? So that's when things got very interesting. But then again, AI changes the whole ballgame. Just remember that. Ownership. Can you imagine knowing how to do AI and you actually have an AI company? But now you're going to have to figure out how you're going to make money from it other than somebody uses your software. You can charge them a monthly fee. That's cool because AI does not, a prompt is not ownership. Just remember that. You want to mess around and do a book and you want to use AI, this has already happened. You can Google it. People are effing around and finding out that they made a book for AI. Then people copied their book with another AI, changed up a little bit or kept it the same. It doesn't really matter. They started selling the book. The author of their AI book started feeling a certain way, going, hey, man, this is my stuff. No, it's not. You made it using prompts. Currently, anybody can copy it and use it because you can't copyright it. So it's fair game. And that's where the mistake comes in. So just remember what you're doing with AI. That's not ownership. You want to make sure you have ownership. Good luck, Americans. I'm out. So just remember, I love you guys very much. And I went on a long rant, but please like, subscribe, click the bell below so you get the latest updates. I'll see you on Monday at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm dropping a video tomorrow about Larimar. It's 1 hour and 8 minutes long. Oh yeah, it's a long one because I'm using AI. And what I mean by that is I uploaded the brochures, the furniture package brochures. And then I told it to scan the website. I mean, yeah, there's their website, and I said, and scan information on the internet. This is free version, by the way. Just so you know, it's I think I used Gemini or Google, one of those. And so I said, hey, check the internet, see their marketing, and does this match their marketing? And then it gives me an idea of what the packages represent. So you can see what the AI for, I think it's Gemini. I'm not, in fact, let me go look. It's Google. It's google.com. It's not even Gemini.com. It's google.com. I'm just using their AI overview kind of thing. And so it came back with weird answers. Let me go see if I still have it up. No, I don't have it up. Did I erase it? No. It looks like I did. I think there's a way I can recapture it. I think. Oh wow. It's gonna be in history, I think. I hope. Let's go see. No, it's not. That's not good. Looks like I lost it. I was gonna tell you guys what it said. That's a bummer. All right. Just remember ownership is the way, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everybody for being here. And again, I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. Just make sure you understand ownership. You're going to have to get that by 2027. The way the country's going right now, they're sweeping everybody, taking the ownership part where you're going to have to license things from other these big corporations. So you want to be able to own everything. You don't want to have to license and then try to sell it unless you have legal rights to be able to sell it or sell your product to somebody else. You might have to pay somebody. That's licensing or leasing or anything like that. Monthly payments. You don't really want that. You want to generate income from whatever you do. All right. Just remember that. And have a great weekend, because you never know what's going to happen out here. People are under stress and duress. You never know what somebody's going through and what they're going to react to. So just try to stay cool out here and be nice, be kind to your fellow humans, because karma is real. And just remember, no matter whatever you do out here, stay calm. And with all that said, make sure you keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.